Hey everyone, it's Professor Kettler. I'm going to talk to you about your discussion post this week. So, when you go to Module 4 and you go to the discussions, you're going to be talking about air quality and societal and political reactions to air quality. Now, a societal reaction is like from communities. So, how much our communities in your area, how much do they care about the quality of air? Is it a big motivating factor, or are there other issues in the community that people are more worried about than air quality? And then a political reaction is going to be like, do politicians care about this? Are they pushing initiatives in Congress to like help the air quality, or are there other issues that they're concerned about? Now, one of the things that this discussion asks you to do is to go to this air quality model and kind of play around with it. And so when you click on this, what pops up is this little simulation. And you're not filling out any kind of paperwork on this. You're literally just looking at it to see what happens. And what I would suggest doing is I would model like a typical city, like a major city, and then I would model like a rural area so that you could kind of see the difference between air pollutants. And so they kind of start off giving you just kind of a little blurb about air pollution and how you can move the sliders around. And I would set the conditions to your area. See what this kind of says. So I live kind of in a major city. And so the temperatures from, most of the year are, kind of in the middle. I wouldn't worry too much about these. So this, there's going to be a lot of cars on the road. So that's probably good. I'm not really sure why I would leave this, alone because, or put it on medium, because I mean, most cars are produced. We're not in the part of our society where a majority of cars are electric cars or not producing emissions. So, medium to matching the amount of cars would be good. Electric cars, this is probably the percentage of people that have electric cars. Actually, it's probably even less where I live. Power plants is going to be, because it's a major city, there's probably 2 or 3. And then power plant pollution, we'll just put it right here. So then you can just click on the play button and let it run over time. And so what you'll see is you see kind of like this primary pollution, and not surprisingly, it's high. And then the secondary pollution coming out in that orange line. And so I just let it run until it gets to the end, and then just kind of look and see, and it'll keep going. So we'll hit the reset button. There we go. And then it just starts over. And so you can model, a more rural area. But honestly, this is just to give you a general overview of, how does the weather conditions affect this, the amount of emissions, how does the amount of cars, the sunlight, the rain, all of those things. So like maybe you're in an area like Seattle where there's a lot of rain and there's not a lot of sunlight for most of the year. And the temperature is medium, and because it's a major city, there's, quite a number of cars, and maybe there's a little bit more electric cars. Power plants are high, and then we're just gonna for that, right? And so, right. And of course, you can look at it like, what would it look like if everybody had electric cars? Like, what would the pollution look like? And so you can just play around with it. So after you're done running a couple of different scenarios, you can go back and you can answer your questions. So the first question that you want to ask is, or that you want to answer is, do you believe societal or political reactions have made a bigger difference in reducing air pollution in the United States? So you're trying to choose between the two. Do you think that society and societal pressures have made a bigger difference? Or do you believe that political reactions have made a bigger difference? And then you want to answer this question here. So how is the Clean Air Act regulating human activity to, in air pollution? And are there any additional programs in your city or state that are regulating air quality? So you're gonna have to do a little bit of research here. And it specifically says in this discussion that you need to use examples from your text or other peer-reviewed sources. So you can go and do a search for what kind of programs are in your area, and that's a great way to use that in-text citation and have don't forget to at the bottom of your discussion to just have your whatever source you used in APA format, use the Scribber website to write, so that way you can just easily whatever you found, you can easily just pop that in there and use your in-text citation for wherever you are writing your discussion post or wherever you're pulling your information. And you already did this in milestone 1, like you practiced this in milestone 1, so now you're just kind of implementing it here. Then in your responses, so in your first peer response, you want to explain how your community or state has reacted to the issue of air quality. So you would say, okay, Sarah, in my state, this is how they have responded to, carbon emissions, or this is how they've responded to sulfur emissions. Then you pick a second peer and you identify at least one global initiative or program that works to regulate air quality and compare the impact of the global reaction to air pollution to that of the reaction your peer discussed. So you are identifying a global initiative that maybe the UN has proposed about air quality, maybe another type of global government organization, and you're comparing like how people have reacted globally to air pollution to what your peer discussed, the one that you're commenting on. This one can be a little confusing. I show a little grace on this one, but you do need to, in order to get credit for that second post, you do need to identify a global initiative and talk about how it has impacted air pollution with implementing that. If you have any questions, let me know, and I look forward to seeing your response posts and your discussion.